Good evening. Srimati K. Leela Lakshma Reddy, President, Council for Green Revolution, Shri R. Deliberately, Chairman, GrACE, Shri M.C. Mehta, Environmentalist, Agassiz Award, Awardee and Advocate Supreme Court of India, Professor K. Purushottam Reddy, environmentalist and author of the book, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a very happy occasion for all of us to be present in this function on the occasion of the release of Eastern Ghats Environmental Outlook. I'm sure it will prove to be a significant contribution to our understanding of the Eastern Ghats. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the authors of this publication, Dr. N. Sai Bhaskar Reddy, Dr. K. K. Tulsi Rao, and C. Uma Maheshwar Reddy. I would also like to place on record my appreciation for the Council for Green Revolution for taking up this initiative to bring the Eastern Ghats on the environment and forefront. I am told that the Council of Green Revolution started its initiative of GrACE Alliance for Conservation of the Eastern Ghats on the 5th of June 2011. Distinguished guests, the environment we live, it has been kept on the sidelines of our priorities over years. Lately, however, owing to various catastrophic climate changes that are taking place, its effects can no longer be wished away. Our beautiful, life-nurturing planet has provided humanity with everything it needs to sustain and even flourish. The human race has undoubtedly flourished, but at what cost? Our greed has far exceeded our needs. As human beings, we were to live, we have failed to do so. The world is now changing in ways we could never have imagined. From mighty Amazonian jungles burning to the polar ice shelters, across the planet, the world is witnessing a rapid loss of biodiversity, desertification, global warming, pollution, resource depletion, and exponential growth of human population, putting undue pressure on the limited resources. The burden of serving humans is now exceeding the carrying capacity and the planetary boundaries of the earth. Nations all over the world are witnessing violent conflicts over resources. Famine, food, potable waters, and arable land and shelter are becoming scarce. The world is losing thousands of hectares in the tropical forests each year. This year alone, we witnessed massive fires in the Amazon forests. Many nations have declared climate emergencies. The frequency and severity of droughts, water shortages and floods have increased. Our planet has become warmer by 1.5 degrees Celsius. The water in our rivers, lakes, and even the underground has been polluted, and our oceans have become the dumping ground for plastics and non-biodegradable materials. This is only naming a few of the consequences as indeed the causes of the climate changes. History tells us how the primitive human settlements were dependent on nature. The best example for this is how all the major cities all over the world without exceptions are located next to rivers and sources of fresh water. The primitive man's life was so dependent on nature that he made gods out of the forces. Our stories, folklores, festivals, traditions are all populated by the flora, fauna, and the elements of nature. Our own heritage as a country is one of the symbiosis of man and nature. The plants, animals, birds of this country are closely linked with its culture and languages. All the ancient scriptures such as Vedas, Upanishads and Puranas direct us to live in harmony with nature. Our mighty mythologies such as Ramayana and Mahabharata and other great epics have backdrops of intact and vibrant forest wilderness that fostered life. Our forefathers regarded the earth as most revered mother. In the morning prayer, after awakening from the sleep, we say, Samudra Vasana Devi, Parvatasthanamandale, Vishnu Patni Namastubhang, Padasparsham Kamashame. Unquote. This is the morning prayer, which means, O Mother Earth, who has the ocean as clothes and mountains and forests on her body, who is the wife of Lord Vishnu, I bow to you. Please forgive me for touching you with my feet. This speaks of the reverence we had of our planet, our natural environment. Ecological picture of the country is grim today. Most of the vibrant Indian landmass has already lost its biodiversity to unsustainable low levels. I am afraid that if we continue this way, a significant number of flora and fauna, including the medicinal plants, will be lost to us forever. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Eastern Ghats, the ancient mountain range of our country, is an example and a classic representative of the vulnerable ecosystems in India. Though it stands third to the ecosystem primacy after Himalayas and Western Ghats, its biodiversity and historical cultural entity is unique. It is one of the most important ecological regions in the country. This region was an intact wilderness with its forests, grasslands, streams, and a wide variety of flora and fauna only a few decades back. Now the human intrusion is so heavy with destructive activities like logging, mining, building or dams, roads and encroaching settlements that the region faces an unprecedented existential crisis. A large number of these activities are unauthorized and have rendered these one serene, lush green hills into nearly barren landscape. I am saddened to know that nearly half of the forest ecosystem of the Eastern Ghats have been completely wiped out. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while it is true that much loss has already been incurred, but it is not too late to turn the things around. However, it is not the task of an individual, a community, or even an organization. For these, we have to work collectively as one national and indeed international entity in pursuit of the common goal. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the biological integrity of Eastern Ghats has to be protected with urgency. The natural loss and glory of these Ghats need to be revived. The fauna on the verge of extinction need to be rehabilitated back to their very own homes. I do understand that it is a daunting task, but it is the task that needs to be done, undertaken without any further delay. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in this context, I would like also to attract your attention beyond the immediate. We need to develop a deeper understanding and closer connection with nature from the very foundational years. You must ask your children to plant a sapling and tend to it like a family member. You will see that your child will not only be conscious towards nature, but would further take initiatives to protect it. We must also inculcate the environmental leadership among the youth and encourage them to take on campaign for awareness. The use of paper for printing out information like submitted forms or tickets for rail or for air travel can now be done paper-free simply from our devices. Our smallest of actions have behind a large carbon footprint. Everything we plan to throw something away, we must ask ourselves if we no longer can recycle or reuse it ourselves. If not, we must not then think of something who may have a use for that object. Even after that, if we cannot meaningfully appropriate it, we must discard it only for further recycling. As a citizen of India, it is given to our fundamental duties under Article 51, Clause A, Subclause G, to protect and preserve the environment. It says, I quote, "It shall be the duty of natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures." True national spirit is incomplete without compassion and responsibility towards nature and its ecosystem. On the other hand, it is equally imperative for the state to make climate change and protection of the environment central to the policies. Article 48, Clause A of the Constitution says, I quote, "The state shall endeavour to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests and wildlife of the country." Unquote. I stress upon the sustainable development narrative for our country as a considered opinion. Measures such as massive awareness, holistic perspective, environment positive policies, empathetic and effective institutions, and the proactive involvement of the local communities have to be adopted. I wish the cause of our ailing environment becomes a prime and sustained national agenda. The publication of this serves as a key instrument for creating ecological stewardship in the country and inspires a wide range of stakeholders for the conservation of Eastern Ghats. I wish this book and other efforts like these catalyze political will and community mobilization to ensure a healthy and sustainable future of the region. I also hope that the indigenous people have a key role in decision-making process for the future of the region, as is their right. These very people stand as the guardians and trustees of the ecological heritage. Towards the end, I hope that the Eastern Ghats become one of the nation's foremost conservation priorities and an exemplar of conservation and sustainable development. I call upon all the higher learning institutions in the region to aid the cause with their wisdom. I call upon the civil society organizations, individuals and political fronts to join hands in this noble task. I am sure that this publication will serve in the cause of halting the ecological destruction of Eastern Ghats and enables its renewal and rejuvenation of the ecosystem. I once again congratulate the Council for Green Revolution and wish them success in their future endeavors. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.